All right, I gotta ask the question. It wouldn't be me, it wouldn't be podcast now if I didn't talk about Sly Cooper. Is Sly Cooper gonna be announced at this PlayStation showcase on September 9th? So we got the announcement. Now I'm recording basically just a batch of videos, and I'm gonna kind of sprinkle them out, where I see fit. But I'm recording all of these, a couple hours after they announced the event, so I'm like on a high right now. Like I have like more passion and energy maybe than I do on a normal day, which is probably unhealthy because I already am pretty excited just naturally. I think there's a possibility, guys. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be direct. Now, obviously, it's not a guarantee, and I don't want to get too excited because excitement can lead to a lot of different things, but one thing excitement can definitely lead to is just failure and just such disappointment in ourselves, in Sony, in a lot of people, in a lot of things. So, I kid around, but no, I mean, look, 20th anniversary next year. We've had all of these rumors that Sly's back, right? And you could believe them, you could not believe them. Again, I mean, to recap really quickly of that, I don't really think people understand the is it gravity? That's like the saying, right? The gravity of the situation. Like the 4chan thing, I thought was fake. Okay, it came from 4chan. 4chan is mostly unreliable, but then you had a very, very good leaker, like respectable, reliable, all the R words, okay? And he said that he has heard multiple times that Sly 5 is in development. He just doesn't know where it's in development from. So that, to me, I know people don't want to go all the way to put like the nail in the coffin, and like actually a happy coffin, not like a death coffin. But I know people don't want to go all the way there, but I will. I'll be the one to kind of sacrifice myself if people want me to. And I'll say, like, I fully am in the camp that like it's just a matter of when we hear about it. Next year, again, is a 20th anniversary. We had, I made a video, depending on when certain videos go up, I talked about there was an insider, Andy Robinson. I think he works, he's a guy who like works in the gaming industry, and he's pretty good in terms of like what he says coming true. He said he's heard that there's going to be some super, I think he said super announcements, weird way of saying it, but like huge things that are going to be, talked about and shown at the event. Now, again, like is a God of War trailer a super announcement? We already know God of War exists, but then showing a trailer, does that qualify as a, or is he talking about brand new things like a Last of Us multiplayer, Sly, Bloodborne PS5? Like are those things super announcements? I like to think that that's what I just said is what he's talking about, not things we already know. Even though a God of War trailer is enormous, but it's something we know to expect. It's a game that was teased, like we know it exists. So like Sly, we don't. So it's wishful thinking, 100%. I just think this would be the. Here's the deal. There's no doubt in my mind. This is the kind of event you do it at. Okay? Ultimately, when I talk about so many games, I talk about so many announcements of games, and oftentimes you'll hear me say, right, where I say, well, they could do it at this show, or they could just do it on their own. When it comes to this, Sly Cooper, Sly 5, there's no way in hell that they would do this on their own. That's just not, they would put it in an event like this. We're not talking about Hogwarts Legacy, right, where sure it could be there, sure it could be at the Game Awards, sure it could be at Gamescom. They could also just do their own video and blog post one day, and it would do fine. I'm not saying Sly wouldn't do fine on its own, but just because literally owned by Sony, associated with like all of that stuff, they are owned, right? Like it has to be at an event like this, okay? So it's either here or we're not getting the announcement, maybe through leaks or like rumors, but we're not getting the official announcement until next year. So here's also the deal I'd like to make sure I drive home. I am putting all my eggs in one basket in terms of believing that we will get some future Sly game, okay? I've always actually been very positive on Sly coming back. In terms of when, I've just never really known. But I have, you can go back for the past like 2 years. I've been very positive about Sly one day returning. Now, I'm saying if it's not at this showcase, does that mean that I immediately now believe that there is no Sly game? No, I'd like to make that very clear. So while I do believe Sly is happening, and I guess Sly 5, I would have been fine with a collection, a remastered collection of 1 through 4. I would have settled like to start with that and then worked our way up to, getting a brand new Sly game. But I do think that's real, or, we will get another game. But if it's not at this showcase, I still will think it's real. It's just, I guess, maybe they don't want to show it yet. I guess the thing that makes me feel a little bit more confident that it would happen here is like, well, they're the games for PlayStation at the end of this year and beyond. And if you look at what they've done with both the June one last year and the September one last year, both the PlayStation showcases, it was very much a mix, right? Final Fantasy was a great example of a game exclusive to PlayStation, Final Fantasy 16, right? And but it really is, I mean, it's not going to come out till probably late next year. So they showed that, I think, what was that, last June, or maybe it was last September? No, I think it was last September. So, but they showed it, you know what I mean? So they showed it 2 years, arguably. Now, maybe because of stuff around the world and it got delayed, maybe it was supposed to come out earlier, but in, you know, how it ended up playing out, they showed a game that's not coming out for 2 years. Pragmata, however you say that game's name, right? That game, when they showed it, was coming out, I believe, in 2022 or even 2023. I think it was a very far ways out. So, you know, God of War, at the time, they showed it September of 2020. It was supposed to come out 2021. I never thought that was going to happen. I said that literally when that show was going on, but you know, still, even if you take it at face value, they announced that pretty much a full year before they thought that game was going to release. Even Horizon, kind of the same thing, maybe, you know, close. Horizon was somewhere in that range. So, you know, I think Sly makes sense, right? Because if it comes out at any time next year, you know, we're at September right now. You are kind of nailing it. You know, it could come out next September. It makes sense to show it this September. It could come out next November. It still makes sense to show it right now. Maybe it makes more sense to do another PlayStation show in like February or March, right? And maybe you show it there. And I would understand that, but I think it makes sense here too. So, you know, again, I'm putting everything's on the table. All my cards are on all the cliche quotes that you've heard like before are the quotes I'd like to use. Like they're all out there that we will get a new Sly game. It's just, I guess I'm not 100% confident we're getting it here, but I would not be surprised. I would not. And I've been saying for a while, like I need a Sony event. I need to co-stream a Sony event, because if you've ever seen a grown man cry, or if you've never seen a grown man cry, you may. I mean, Sly is just so special and important, not just to me, but to all of you, right? And you guys have done a tremendous job. Obviously, I even talked to the voice of Sly Cooper, which was a dream goal, and I made that possible. Actually, you guys made it possible, because if I wasn't a channel with people watching, there's no way he would have done that. You know what I mean? So I want to thank all of you. I think we're hopefully towards the end of our little marathon of like wishing of a Sly, and then, you know, hopefully we're entering the next phase of like it's real. We just have to wait for it now. So hopefully we get that next week. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, as always, to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. Again, I will be co-streaming it, so you can watch it live along with me. I'll make more videos kind of announcing that as we get closer. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my second channel, Podcast Now Plus, or support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, the links for all of those things, Twitter, second channel, the membership stuff, is in the description below, okay? Thank you for watching, guys. I hope to see you all on the next video.